Okay, since everybody else does them, I'm going to do a fish tank update. This is the 40-gallon tank. Just did water changes on all 5 of my tanks. This tank has 1 pearl gourami female, I believe 15 neon tetras, 6 Remy nose tetras, and then an assortment of snails. See, 2 T5 HO lights. I run them about 4 hours on, 2 hours off, 4 hours on. I do have CO2 now. Let's see if you can see it. It's diffusing right about there. There it is right there. I've had it for about 2 weeks, so I'm hoping some of these stem plants right here will be kind of bush up a little bit. I kind of like them tall because I don't have a background right now, but I think that's affecting the lower leaves. So what do we got? What do we got here? We got Ludwigia, a little bit of Ludwigia here. It's just not. It doesn't really work well in this spot. Works well here. We got some Wisteria, dwarf sage, which I think, it's supposed to send off runners and, kind of maybe create like a carpet effect almost, but I think when I put my dirt in this tank, I packed it in because when I put the dirt in, I kind of squeezed out a lot of the water when I put it in, so I think I made it too dense, so I think the runners are having a hard time pushing through the dirt, and it's just really slow, so it's not really doing what it does. Got Anubias here, another Anubias here. This one's bigger, and it's a different species. I don't remember what it is. This one is Argentine sword. It's not really doing so good in this corner because I had this Anubias was kind of shading it out. I trimmed it up, so as you can see right here, this is a new leaf. It's starting to pop out. These are crypts. I think they're Windii. I have like 3 here, but I planted 3 originally, and I see a little baby here. I planted this little baby here, but it really hasn't done too much. But these have really grown in really well since I planted them. Kind of almost the focal point of the tank now, at least the right side of the tank. And then back here on this driftwood, I got Java fern, and then behind that I have Amazon sword, which is taking its time to grow in. I think the placement that I put it in was kind of not the best because it doesn't have a lot of room behind the driftwood. I was kind of thinking it would kind of fill in really well there, but it doesn't have a lot of room to grow. Then we have some Ludwigia here that is kind of stemmy that I see some little growth right there that I'm hoping will kind of fill in. Then some more Argentine swords back here, and then also another Amazon sword, which once again is probably not in the best place because I have this hang on the back filters blowing it down here, and then this fan here blowing, so it's kind of just going crazy. And then also have another Anubias here, then a little bit of Ludwigia here just to kind of fill in, and it stays kind of short because it's shaded. I put just some wisteria here because I was thinking that this Pearl Gourami would enjoy a little bit of cover. And she doesn't really even stay over here very much, but it kind of shades the Anubias, which is good because this Anubias doesn't have any green spot algae on it. Like, see the green spot algae? It's because it's directly in the light. And a little bit more dwarf sedge right there. This dwarf sedge right here is actually pretty big, and it has runners. What else? Algae issues that I have in this tank right now is hair algae. I had a lot on this driftwood right here, and I spot treated with Excel and pulled it off, you know, as much as I could, and it hasn't come back. But it's kind of all intertwined in my substrate. I don't know if you can see it here. I mean, it's not too obvious, but if you look closely, you can see it. Hair algae is a little bit of an issue. Blackbeard algae, I definitely have that going on some of the slower growing. We have bubbles right now going on. So right there on some of that Java fern and some of the Amazon swords, they have blackbeard algae. Kind of doing an Excel treatment, hoping that'll go away. Green spot algae on the slow growing Anubias seems to be kind of something that's kind of common. You can really see it on that leaf. I know there's some snails that'll eat that, but I'm not too worried about it. I do an EI method of fertilization and up the phosphates a little bit to try to combat the green spot algae. But I really think it comes down to the fact that it's directly under the light, and that's the main problem. Got the CO2 going for the past couple weeks, so we'll see. I know that these Argentine swords back here, these guys that are tall, they're loving the CO2 right now. They've been popping off since I started that. But anyway, I really don't like these sponge. I had some fish that got sucked onto the hang on the back filter, so I added that. They're huge, and when I ordered them, they were black. They were supposed to be black, and at some point I'm going to get a black background here, but it just hasn't happened yet. So those are there. I'll probably trim them up at some point. I don't know, whatever. Anyway, moving along to, we have two 5.5 gallon beta tanks right here. This one is mine, and this one is my wife's. This one I really like. I'm really loving it. Got a 13 watt 6500K spiral compact fluorescent light on this, and the plants love it. I dose Excel. I don't have CO2 on this one. I just use Excel. EI on this one as well. EI fertilization. This wisteria basically create like a canopy. It loves it. And got some Java moss. I think it's called Trident, or I don't remember what it's called. Anubias, Ludwigia. Most of my tanks have all the same stuff. Have some swords in the back that I got. I mean, these are just Petco swords that they were grown immersed, so they're kind of just not adapting to the submersed lifestyle. They're gonna probably get too big anyway, so I don't really know why I put them in there. Here's the beta. Let's see if I can get him to move. If I do this, it'll come up. There we go. I actually think this is my best looking tank right now. We have my wife's beta tank. This one has Ludwigia right here. This is an Acarus. This is a Crypt. Stands small in this tank because there's no dirt. I just put root tabs. You got the same Amazon, or not Amazon, but Argentine sword, a little more Ludwigia, and Anubias. And then that's her beta. This is a very active beta. My beta, he's usually pretty lazy. Then this is my wife's goldfish tank. There's no live plants in here. This is just straight up for fun. To watch these guys just kind of frolic around. Blackmore here, he's kind of half blind. Then we have this goldfish. As you can see, it's missing an eye on his left side. See if you can see his eye. Yeah, there's his eye. He sees pretty well with only one eye. And then this Oranda, his brain is popping out of his head. At least that's what I think. We named him Conan because his hair looks like, or his head looks like Conan O'Brien's head, with his little red afro and then his white pasty skin. And this is a 10-gallon tank, dirt tank. All the tanks are dirt except for this one. My wife's 2 tanks, the one with the blue rocks, and that beta tank on the left. So I dirted the tanks. Same situation with this one. I think I packed the dirt too tight. Actually, I think I packed it too tight on all of them, but I didn't think about it. I didn't realize it until it was, too late. So like this dwarf sage, like look how tiny it is. I planted that probably a couple months ago, and that's all I get. This tank has a bit of a brown algae issue. It just won't go away. This tank is pretty much made for a Grebensis cichlid. And cichlids have a bit of a temper, and this one definitely has a bit of a temper. And I put it in the 40-gallon tank originally with all the other guys in there, and she just chased everybody around. And I wanted a peaceful tank, so I already had this tank, and I already had her in this tank. So it was pretty much an experiment to see if she would behave in the 40-gallon. So it didn't work out, so I just kind of put her back in this, but we dirted it first and planted it up, and she seems to like this. She hides a lot, but I think that's what they do. This is a little cave that she hangs out in. I don't know if I can there she is right there. Oh, right there she is. See how she's kind of creeping back? Right, where's my finger? Right there. She's shy. See how she's backing out? Anyway, this tank, it's not my favorite. The plants are kind of stemmy. The Ludwigia actually is doing good here, but it has brown algae on it, which is pissing me off, because I don't want to clip it out and replant the good stuff. It's just because it's just going to get brown algae on it too, so I just kind of try to clean it off as best as I can. That's an Amazon sword. Probably going to get too big, but whatever. It looks good for now, I think. Another crypt. Got all these crypts for free. Off a guy in town. He just kind of hooked me up, and they're growing well. Some more dwarf sage, not growing in very well. Dwarf sage right here, not growing in very well. Another little tiny Argentine sword that I know it's supposed to get huge, but it's just not working here for some reason. Java fern and wisteria. This thing looks better far away. Probably get some more plants, some more ground cover plants to kind of fill that in a little bit. Anyway, that's what I'm working with for now. And we'll see how it looks next week when I do my water changes.